Hello, everyone. She lives in Boston. She was on the show in November on the theme of dance, telling a story that you can watch on the channel involving a song by Jermaine Jackson. So go watch that story. She is going to be back on the show this February 14th on the theme of tattoo, telling a true story. Please welcome to this interview, Julie Baker. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Brune. Nice to see you.
You too. So I'm so excited to have you back on the show, and I wanted to do a follow-up interview because I talked to you in an interview on this channel back in November, and a few things have happened in the world of storytelling online and in your life, I'm sure. And so let's talk about that. Yes, I hear you have a new project with storytelling. Can you tell us about that?
I do. I have launched mostly mentally at this point, but I have acquired a URL, so it's real, a project called Blue Chakra Stories. And it will be an open mic show virtually for now, someday in person when we're back there. It will be workshops, it will be storytelling play, and stay tuned.
Awesome. All right. So I'm so excited for that. You are a master storyteller
Thank
to the
you.
point where, I always workshop stories with storytellers beforehand, regardless of experience. And but I had you on the show before, and I completely trust you with your story. I asked you what it was about, and you told me roughly, and I'm like, yeah, you get this. And so I can't wait for people to hear that story because there's layers and there's big stakes, and there's, I mean, you know your craft. And
Thank you.
yeah, so what have you been up to in terms of storytelling since November?
Oh, wow. So many things. Launching Blue Chakra Stories, coming up with the name, coming up with the URL, coming up with ideas, a lot of brainstorming. I go to open mics and story slams all over the country and the world now, thanks to you in Canada. I have made friendships all over the nation with
Mm,
the storytelling community. So I feel like that's been a plus side to the pandemic.
yeah, I love a silver lining to a pandemic.
Yes. Yes.
You also had a story come out on the Moth podcast recently.
I did. Yes, I did. It was my second story on the Moth podcast, and this one was a serious story. There are funny elements, but it's kind of a serious story about my relationship with my mother and my relationship with my daughter. It's called Mothers and Daughters. And it was a tough story to tell, but I really feel strongly that storytelling connects and heals people, not just ourselves, but having other people hear your vulnerability gives them permission to be vulnerable.
Yeah, that's so great. And how was that experience of having that story come out?
It was a process. I talked to my daughter about it. We crafted together the update. The Moth asked for an update because it was about an incident that happened several years ago.
Oh,
So that was really healing for us in our relationship. And it was great. I got good feedback. It's always difficult. The Moth takes stories that were recorded live years ago, and they'll suddenly reach out to you and say, "Can we use this story?"
yeah.
So if I could record it again, there would be a lot less ums. There would be, the end would be different. So I'm always a little bit hard on myself when I hear old things, but I try to just see it like live theater. It was what it was, and
Mhm.
accept it for what it was.
Yeah, I think it makes me think, I think it's the same with writers, especially of nonfiction and of memoir, where like if you ask them like, do you go back and read what you wrote 10 years ago? And they're like, hell no. Yeah, because we've changed so much, and sometimes it's hard to see ourselves in, in the
Yes,
voice of
yes,
the past.
Yes, yes. That's
Yeah.
funny because I'm writing a memoir. And so when I go back to look at things, I think, oh, that's where I was then. So
Mm,
I'm always sort of having to adapt based on new awarenesses and new realizations. And
yeah. I find it's one of the hardest things to love our older selves, and to accept them fully as still a part of us today. Um, and yeah, I'll stop there on that topic because otherwise I'm going to go into therapy, and we don't need to do that today. um, okay, so this is the beginning of 2021. You already mentioned the Blue Chakra Stories project. Do you envision other things for yourself in terms of storytelling?
Absolutely. I am going to continue the 99-second stories. I try to do them every day. I'm not always successful because life gets in the way. I really have found that has helped me grow because it makes me look for the stories that are literally here and now.
Yeah.
I want to continue that. I want to help teach people about that, about how to craft a 99-second story. I have a fantasy about living in a combined work life space, loft space, where I would live in a wonderful apartment and there would be access to event space and I would host in-person workshops and monthly story slams or open mics.
Mm-hmm. I think it's great to keep dreaming for now
Yes,
about in-person events, because places will open
it
eventually,
will
and
happen.
maybe sooner than we think. And so it's great. Yeah, it's great.
Yes, yes, and I'm in the next group to get the vaccine, so I
Yeah,
that gives me hope. The spring is coming. That gives me hope. The vaccine gives me hope. Just it's really important to hang on to hope during this time.
absolutely. I think it's a great ending for our interview.
Yes.
So everyone, tune in this Sunday, February 14th. Follow Julie at Lazy Julie on Instagram, where you post your 99-second story slam. Stories. You also post them, I imagine, on at Blue Chakra Stories.
Mhm. Yes.
And we'll see you Sunday. The theme is tattoo. The show is free. It's a 1 hour storytelling show. We're going to have storytellers from Massachusetts, but like East and West, Quebec, Nevada, and South Carolina, and Nebraska. So thank you so much, Julie, for talking to me today, and I'll see you on the show.
Great. See you Sunday.
Bye.